Hello and welcome to this live stream as we unpack the world of Mantle. My name is Han Tan. I'm the Chief Market Analyst at Bybit. So now we know that we are doing this live stream at a time when the world is highly uncertain. Markets are volatile. We've got the Middle East conflict going on as we speak, but the world of Mantle is still pushing forward. So for the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to share with you, right, how about the latest exciting projects and developments across this ecosystem to inspire and inform you and potentially, help you get excited about your next opportunity. All right. Now, I'm about to invite our experts on here very shortly, but first things first, we do have a couple of exciting giveaways for you guys, some red packets during this live stream. So just to get over some of the mechanics here. Now, you will need to trade at least $500 worth of the various tokens that we will have represented during this live stream. So I'm talking Blockstreet, ELSA, SCOR, or VOOI, right? So many of these that we'll talk about during this live stream, and you will see the queue. We'll have a couple of them, one about, say, 20 minutes from now, and then another one towards the end of this live stream. Long story short, make sure you stay tuned to the very end. Look, I like to think that the insights that we'll share with you is, value for money in and of itself. But, if you're looking for the next investing or trading opportunity, we have some giveaways to help you along that journey as well. All right. Okay. Without further ado, I'd like to invite Josh. He is the head of product at Mantle, and he's going to kind of lay the groundwork for us at this live stream. Hi, Josh. How are you?
Hey, Han. Great to be here. Really privileged to have this opportunity to share more. Very excited, actually.
Yeah, big time. And now, for those who are perhaps not informed, we did have a live stream on this topic, just not too long ago. And so this is a follow up. But if this is your first time joining as well, no worries. Josh is going to walk us through the basics, the 101s to help you get started. Okay. So with that in mind, Josh, take things away for the uninitiated. Share with us about what is Mantle and what is this Mantle ecosystem all about, really.
Yeah, so Mantle is a blockchain. It's actually powered by MNT, which I think quite a lot of Bybit users would recognize as one of the kind of key utilities across the ecosystem. But it's also a gas token for the blockchain network. Now, this blockchain network is actually compatible with the largest ecosystem via TVL Ethereum, and and in fact, we are built on top of Ethereum and entirely compatible with a smart contract layer that works on the same smart contracts. It's the third largest layer 2. It's actually through this layer 2 technology known as zero knowledge scaling, we're able to make our fees using MT as cheap as possible. In fact, fractions of a cent in most cases, to be able to operate all sorts of different use cases that smart contracts and programmability can bring with smart money. And that alone is not very interesting. What's more interesting is that our adoption has really skyrocketed, especially last month. It was actually driven by the launch of DeFi lending and borrowing, along with Bybit Alpha. So with that, our total value locked, measured by some of the leading names in our industry like DeFi Llama, has tripled. So from 255 million to over 750 million. And that's just on these narrow metrics. We actually exceeded markets more than $1 billion. And our DEX trading, especially with Fluxion, which is a key DEX, which we'll talk more about, this integration with Bybit Alpha, have in fact doubled in TVL in the same month. So we're seeing tremendous growth. Even in a time like this, with all the scares of war and warmongering, we've been actually growing the fundamental metrics that make us stronger.
Yeah, and you really highlighted a very important point, right? Because here at Bybit Learn, of course, we not only look at the crypto side, but we also look at the macro and the TradFi stuff, right? So to see this growth spurt within Mantle, happening at a time as, like you rightly pointed out, all this uncertainty and risks and fears on the macro and TradFi side is really fascinating, right? And I'm sure amidst this growth spurt, and even prior to that, since the inception of Mantle, I'm sure there have been a lot of exciting narratives that have really come out, right? So, maybe talk to us about what is sexiest right now. What is the thing that's really capturing people's attentions within the Mantle ecosystem, more of late, and then maybe work your way backwards then.
Yeah, sure. This explosion of growth, although it's 1 month, we tripled and double index trading volume and function, triple in TVL. These are amazing statistics, but it didn't come overnight. We've been really thinking about this very deliberately as to what the world would need in this age of digitization, AI, automation, and just the macro environment of geopolitical instability. So, first key thing that we've always shared, I think even in the earlier sessions, our strong core focus is real world assets. So what that really means is traditional financial assets and paper being tokenized and with the ability to find distribution across blockchain users like yourself on Bybit, on trading platforms. So with that, we see that that's a very strong narrative. As institutions, countries trust less about each other, what matters more is the decentralized ledger in which these fundamental assets can live, can trade, and have utility. And with that, with real world assets, we first drew it with stablecoins. So stablecoins have the cheapest place to borrow and the best place to supply. In other words, it's almost like a decentralized banking framework that we've built with our launch of Aave that has become extremely favorable. And with that as a fundamental DeFi building block, we were able to add new things. So the next key trend that we are definitely seeing is agentic trading and commerce. And with that, we actually have some of the projects listed here that are focused on it, as well as more and more AI and automation and tooling for them to be able to navigate these real assets and move stablecoins in ways that get you your best yield. And then finally, with that, with Bybit Alpha, it's not just about DeFi and DeFi alone, but the CDeFi, which is the ability for centralized exchanges like Bybit to bring its tremendous platform of 80 million users in from a CeFi direction into the DeFi side of Mantle and be able to tap into Mantle DEXs and Mantle liquidity that really matches all these different activities and find new distribution patterns and pathways for the projects.
At risk of perhaps aging myself here, look, I'm not going to reveal exactly how old I am, but I'm old enough whereby I've literally bought stocks way back in the day over the phone. I kid you not. I will call, then have to wait for them to get a matching price, and then they call back, whether I'm okay to buy at that quoted price, to see where I started my journey through financial markets to all the things that you're talking about. It just blows my mind, right? And it's not just the convergence between the centralized versus the decentralized world, but also bringing these real world assets, all these stocks and different securities that we had grown up with, or at least I have, right? Seeing them being able to trade 24/7, right? Being able to capitalize and produce 24/7 opportunities that you can capitalize on. It's amazing. And then on top of that, like you mentioned, now I don't even have to do it, right? I can even instruct my AI to do it on my behalf as well, which is just mind-blowing to say the least. So, for those of you, who are perhaps watching right now and you're like, AI, yeah, whatever, like you're so used to it. Just spare the thought for all these like me, like just to see the evolution of your financial journey is just astounding, to say the least. All right. So I think with that in mind, right? So you have already spoken about the key narratives, key projects, and some of these milestones that you've achieved, not just in the past month, but in recent years as well. But perhaps talk to us about the synergies between the Mantle ecosystem with Bybit Alpha. Because I know personally as well, I've just been amazed with all the kind of different asset classes that give me so many different opportunities to take advantage of in the markets through the Bybit universe as well, right? So for this particular discussion alone, talk to us about that relationship between the Mantle ecosystem and platforms like Bybit Alpha.
Yeah, great. So I'll just start by giving a very brief explanation of what Bybit Alpha is. For those that haven't figured it out, you can go to your Bybit app and you search Alpha and it'll pop up. The ability of using Bybit Alpha is basically the ability to work on on-chain type tradings and and purchases and LP, which is liquidity provision on these DEXs. In this case, if you would go to Solana, it will be Byreal, and on Mantle, it will be Function DEX, which will be featured here. And what this ability to do is you don't need to have private keys or remember your MetaMask or Rabbit wallet address. You don't need any of that. You just need to use your unified trading account and your liquidity, and it's just one click away to be able to deploy into all these opportunities. And with that alone, you unlock a whole new world, a whole new set of opportunities to trade potentially new assets. We'll talk about some of these projects and their tokens. Will potentially also be an even higher yields because you provide these DEX liquidity that will have even more benefits. And then finally, with that, you're able to find price differences. So for those who are savvy and traders, the ability to find the differences between pricing on DEXs and Bybit spot would be a tremendous opportunity to just go back and forth and make even more. Yes. So with that, what it really represents is the ability to bring the pricing that's on chain to be as close as the deepest books of Bybit, and therefore making the world more equitable for decentralized traders as well as Bybit. Now, that gives Mantle this very unique opportunity, this distributional path for centralized exchange users of Bybit to get on board without even thinking about gas, without even thinking about how to use that. And with that, this tremendous user experience improvements and superior choice, right? You can choose whether at that moment the price on the DEX is better, or at the moment the price on spot is better. So it's more choice, more consumer freedom, and for you the opportunity to take advantage of it.
So I love those words that you use there, Josh. Choices, opportunities. All right. So now in this next part of the live stream, we're going to help you visualize or put some faces to some of those different projects, exciting projects that are happening within the Mantle ecosystem. So I'm going to rattle off the names of our experts who will be joining us right now on the screen. That gives our producers some time to pull them all up. We've got Tom Izone, this is the founder of SCOR. We've got C. Lu, who's the head of BD at Blockstreet. We've also got Dean, who is the marketing specialist at Bird Eye. We've got Nelson, chief of strategy at ELSA AI. We've got Sham, who is the marketing lead at Fluxion. Well, we already have Josh, and we've got Igor, who is the head of BD at VOOI. All right. So as you see all these names pop up and their respective projects, we are going to hear from each and every one of them, right, about the different projects and opportunities that you could take advantage of. But I think visually as well, right, what you see on the screen right now is just a sampling of what the Mantle ecosystem really holds and more, right? We got so many projects involved here, and we're going to hear from each and every one of them in just a bit. All right, let's start with you, Tom. Tom, I believe, is here with us, right? Yes, he is on the screen there. Hi, Tom. How's it going?
Hello. Hey, everybody.
All right. Tom, wish we could see your lovely face there, but no worries. But perhaps let's listen to what you have to say here. We need to hear about what your project is all about and what you're building for the Mantle ecosystem.
Yeah, sure. First of all, great to be here, and Josh, great overview. Good to. I always enjoy your updates on what's happening. So with SCOR, we're building the infrastructure layer for programmable sports IP. If you think about, and sorry, let me just go on Do Not Disturb here. Of course, I'm getting. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so Sweet is the company I founded. Sweet has been bringing professional sports onto the blockchain for 6+ years. That's across F1, NBA, professional hockey, professional football, soccer, et cetera. And through that process, not only have we built very compelling fan engagement platforms that have been really well received, but we also saw a lot of fundamental issues, right, with sports IP and how sports IP, is really limited in sort of how it can be accessed by other ecosystems and platforms. And so at the core of SCOR is something we call the SCOR ID. And the SCOR ID is a blockchain-based identity that gives an attribution framework for sports content. And if you think about how sports content today is being consumed, it's very, very much changing, right? When I was a kid, I would watch my favorite teams end to end, right? Full games, sit down on the couch, watch the full broadcast. We live in a very new world, right? I can't get my teenage sons to watch sports in that way. They watch it in these little digestible clips and highlights, right? They want to see the key plays, but they don't want to necessarily watch the full game. And that fundamentally shifts the way that we're consuming content, really kind of like changes the potential for revenue, lost revenue, and creates opportunities as well. And so with one of the things that we've noticed is sports IP is being tagged, but it's being tagged with attributions in a very fragmented way across platforms, right? That could be social media platforms. It could be literal like sports tagging ecosystems. And there's really no universal source of authority. And so by bringing this onto the blockchain, we create this transparent, canonical, platform independent record of sports content, okay? That creates this very trusted foundation on how sports content can be identified, tracked, licensed, monetized, tapped into in a very transparent way that's never been done before. So that's the sports IP side, and there's a lot more I want to talk about there. But and then on the fan side, we're also building very compelling fan-facing products that allow users to interact with that licensed IP on chain, compete, create, earn, right, collect based on their engagement, and give them the value that they deserve versus the third-party platforms that typically suck a lot of that value out of their pockets. So, so think of our ecosystem as really a peer-to-peer network of programmable fandom of sports IP, and we're building this on the Mantle ecosystem.
Yeah, and we'll get into why the rationale for choosing the Mantle ecosystem in just a bit. But real quick though, I want to ask, because some of the sports IPs that you rattled off were quite US centric, right? So the hockey, the NFL, etc. So how do you make this a global story then, beyond just perhaps those who are already familiar with those franchises?
Yeah, it's a very good question. We're not. If you look at our user base and who kind of taps into the ecosystem, it is very much global. I didn't mention we've got, I think, 2,000 licensed cricketers. With the sport, I don't watch too often, but when I do, I very much enjoy it. And tennis, golf, like obviously soccer, right? We call it soccer. But you guys call it football. Is a global sport. So yeah, we see this as a very much a global platform. We did get our roots in US-based professional sports. They need a lot of hand-holding, right? And sort of like how you sort of leverage blockchain and move into new ecosystems and digital worlds and connect with fans in whole new ways, right? And that's what we're all about. And as I mentioned earlier, like this idea of like fan behavior shifts, really moving towards highlights and clips. Everybody's concerned about that, right? And that could be a broadcaster who is used to linear, right? They want to make sure that their revenue is protected. It could be the leagues. It could be even like the players, right? And groups that are sort of present in these clips. And so downstream is really something that everyone's trying to figure out. How do we participate in downstream? And SCOR ID and the SCOR protocol really provides the infrastructure to ensure that you're future-proofing and making sure that as the way consumers consume content changes, that there's a tracking and an attribution system. And what's really unique about what we're doing is we're tapping into the Web 2 platforms as well, the social media platforms. So it's not just everything has to happen on Web 3, right? So if you have a piece of content that's tagged with the SCOR ID and it ends up on YouTube, we could serve a reference file, and that reference file ties back to the on-chain asset. And even if users are uploading derivatives, right? And that's what's really unique about sports content, infinite number of derivatives. You might crop yours 16:9, mine might be a square crop. I might have a little bit longer, shot of that play than you, et cetera. We can track that pretty efficiently and ensure that the sports partners are getting paid out, even on user uploaded content. So it's a very big play. It's future-proofing sports, and it provides a lot of opportunity for not only sort of understanding how content's being consumed, but creating new revenue streams for our partners as well.
And also democratizing the entire process as well, right? For the folks watching on this live stream. So now, to kind of take it home, then, like how talk to us again about the relationship with Mantle, the ecosystem, and what are some. Perhaps you can drop us some teasers here. What can we expect here in the near future in terms of SCOR with Mantle?
Yeah, sure. So we got involved early on with the Bybit team, and Bybit was one of our first. So SCOR is a publicly listed token now, and we got very close with Bybit team, and then from there we're introduced to Mantle, and very much fell in love with the protocol. In terms of like low transaction, it's EVM compatible. It scales really well. If you think about just the sheer volume of content that would be in the queue to write on chain. You want to make sure that there's low transaction costs, et cetera. And we just felt it created a really strong technical foundation for what we're building with SCOR. It's not quite apples to apples, but like when I hear RWA, I know that's often referred to in sort of this concept of like financial instruments. But if you think about sports IP, right? In some ways, it is a real world asset, right? And so we thought that there was a really good fit from that perspective as well. Maybe not exactly what the original vision from the Mantle team was, but clearly an association, right, with what we're doing. So a lot to like about the Mantle ecosystem. They've been very great partners of ours, and we're very committed to continue to build SCOR in that on that structure on those rails.
Yeah, and speaking about the token that Tom just mentioned earlier, yeah, since it debuted on December 17th, I believe, on the Bybit platforms, and it's available on both the Bybit Alpha and also as a spot there. It skyrocketed over 800% at one point in time. So yeah, some early successes there, and and long may that continue. So thank you so much for that, Tom. Now moving real quick on to Silu. She's the head of business development at Blockstreet. Hi, Silu. How are you?
Hi, GM. Hi, this is Sila here from Blockstreet. I know I might look different from the poster because I'm not Haiti, but yeah. So about Blockstreet, should I continue?
Go for it. Whoever you
Okay.
may be or whoever you may claim to be, go for it. We want to hear about Blockstreet.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay, so Blockstreet is building the liquidity and execution layer for on-chain capital markets. So today we all know tokenized assets are growing really fast. So the RWA market is almost surpassing 25 billion in on-chain assets, as I believe. And the tokenized equity is sustaining approximately 800 million in monthly trading volume. So we know this number is huge. But the problem really is about the liquidity. So because the liquidity is really fragmented, and so the execution is inefficient. And then the institutional players still can't trade them the way they trade in the traditional markets. So that's a problem we're solving here. What Blockstreet is really doing is we are aggregating the fragmented liquidity across venues, and we're delivering more efficient cross-venue execution, improving the pricing consistency across like the tokenized assets, and so enabling better capital utilization in RWA trading environment. So instead of just putting the assets on chain, we focus on making sure that they can actually move, clear, and scale. So that's what we do. And we see a lot of traction since we launched. And right now we're at around 240 million accumulative routed volume via Aqua. That's our institutional product, and over 50 million monthly trading volume across integrated liquidity flows. So that's what we're doing right now, trying to solve the liquidity problem. Yeah.
And just based on the mix that you mentioned there, right? Are you seeing a lot more excitement from or I should say, more take up from the institutional side, or just a lot more excited from the retail side? Or what's the mix here?
I think it's 60-40, 60 on the institutional side, 40 on the retailer side, because it definitely has a lot of compliance issue, regulatory issues for the institutional players to come in, but they are very excited to see, and the major players are coming to the field. So like we are in conversation with a lot of the big names, because RWA, we know, is a huge cake, right? So yeah, So I would say 60% on the because the institutional players have to come in, so we have more I would say regulated products for the retailer side, if that makes
So
sense.
yeah, and look, if I'm going to give you a platform to make your pitch here, right? So what is that sexy hook that you are pitching to this institutional guys to come on board? I mean, we understand that they've got their own as you mentioned, compliance issues and other due diligence that they have to do. But from a fundamental and a business case perspective, right? Sell it to us here. What's that sexy pitch that you got?
Well, there's definitely a lot of sexy pitch, but I think, well, you mentioned it earlier, 24/7, fast and clear, a scalability. That's it, right?
Yeah,
it's a way bigger market than the traditional TradFi, even though it's already the number is big, right?
Yeah, and look, we know that from within the DeFi space, there's such grand ambitions to eventually even house the entire of TradFi within the DeFi space, and we are already seeing movements like that, right? Be it from the Nasdaq or the New York Stock Exchange, moving over into our world as well. So, and I think there's a big chunk of that pie that can easily be housed, not just within the Bybit Alpha and also the Mantle universe, but certainly at Block Street as well, right? So long may it continue, but before we move on, maybe one last thing, if there is that one key project, like distill it down to like one project that you're most excited about for Block Street for 2026, fill in the blank, it would be that blank totally just went totally blank. But yeah, what would you be most excited about for as we look further out into 2026 and beyond?
Well, it's actually taking place next week. We'll have a huge collaboration within the Mantle network. So I hope everyone stay tuned for that. I can't say more, but yeah.
Such a tease.
Yeah, I know, cool. Right?
We'll leave it at that. Well, thank you so much for that, Sidu. But hey, folks, we were not teasing you about this earlier. If you missed it, we already had the first round of the red packet that was sent out. You should have gotten a notification right here within this live stream. If you missed it, no worries. We've got a second round of red packets to be given out as well. All right, so make sure you stay towards the end. We'll show it. We'll have that pop up on the screen for you. All right, cool. Now let's segue really quickly to Dean. He's the marketing specialist at BirdEye. There you are again, Dean. Good to see you again, buddy. You all right?
Hey, very nice to meet everyone here today. And yeah, I'm a bit camera shy, so yeah, forgive me if I do something weird.
Look, man, you've got your head full of hair, so you automatically makes you look better than me, maybe even Josh as well. I'm kidding, Josh. But hey, that's not what we're here to talk about. Not about our follicle challenges. Let's talk about what you guys are working on within the Mantle ecosystem. Take it away, BirdEye.
Okay. So let me give you guys like a very quick brief about BirdEye. So let's say BirdEye is an on-chain data aggregator. Think of like Bloomberg terminal of on-chain crypto. Yeah, so that's exactly like what BirdEye is doing. And what we really focusing right now is on the data side, which lead us to the BirdEye data introductions earlier this year. So within the Mantle ecosystem, when something moves on Mantle, like you need to know it immediately, especially with price swings, especially with new launches, new activities, liquidity shifts. So if your data is like if your data is low or broken, like you always one step behind, right? Mm-hmm. So what BirdEye is trying to do is to ensure that all the data is real time and accurate for the builders on Mantle to ship better products and users make smarter decisions. No gas. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do here.
No gas. God, you just made me sound so old. I can't believe you're using language like that. But how about this though? Because okay, look, I've been a Bloomberg user for like 20 years now. I even worked with one of Bloomberg subsidiaries before, right? And I know that in my experience over the past couple of decades, like you rightly pointed out, data is just critical, right? It's the lifeblood of the financial markets. It's the lifeblood for every trader and investor to make those smart and timely decisions, right? But then as we look beyond the Bloomberg universe, I think trust really is such a crucial factor, right? Anybody can put some random number in front of you, but how do I believe that that number is accurate? So in bird's eyes view, pun intended, right? How do you address the trust factor then? It's one thing to have a great product, but then how do you really, capture people's imaginations with it?
Yes. Okay. So I believe that part of the trust is established because we are really like early in this kind of business, because we have been indexing data for either in the last 5 years. And when a users come to any kind of data aggregators, they're gonna be checking between kind of data
Mhm.
providers. For example, like they come into Bird Eye Data and they come to, let's say, CoinMarketCap or like something like that, and they see the differences, then they're not gonna come again. So what we try to do here is that we try to be better every single day. That if any kind of small issue is showing up, then we address it immediately. Yes.
Mhm. And so, how does the mental ecosystem then help you become or help you set yourselves up as the gold standard or the benchmark when it comes to data within the Web3 space?
Yes. Okay. So I believe that Tom already said about the technical thing about about Mantle. So I believe that Mantle has a very good operations of in terms of technical and in terms of data. So to be honest, we from outside we don't have to struggle to index the Mantle data because it's already very well arranged in terms of technical. Yeah. So yes, so with the ongoing development of new trends, new liquidity coming in with new projects here today, of course, we have many like talented projects people here. So I believe that we're gonna deliver more and more better data for builders on on Mantle.
What I'm hearing is transparency, accessibility, and not just for the builders, right? Also, right, but it's also to basically every participant within the mental ecosystem, right? So, like, perhaps let's end your section with this. Then, if there's that one thing that you can pitch again to the average user, or perhaps somebody who's new to the mental ecosystem, right? What would it be? Like, fill in the blank, just like Silu did earlier. Like, what is that one big sexy pitch for 2026 for out of Bird Eye?
Yes. Okay. So 2026, we already see the new wave of AI agents. So we as Bird Eye, we try to have the best in the market for mental network data, so that even AI agents can progress any kind of data in millisecond. That's exactly what we try to do in 2026.
Oh, that's exciting stuff, right? Well done. Thank you so much there, Dean, for your insights there. Let's move on quickly to Nelson. He's the Chief of Strategy at Hey ELSA AI. And folks also, right, now, as you're hearing about all these different facets or all these different components within the mental ecosystem, if there's a question that you have that is perhaps aimed at one of our speakers, by all means, feel free to type them in the chat. I believe we are streaming on social media as well, as well as on top of the Bybit platforms. So find where the chat is and just drop us a note there, and we'll try to leave some time for you to have those questions addressed. Okay. All right. Cool. So with that said, Nelson. So same spiel here, buddy. All right. Talk to us about how Hey ELSA AI, is what is it? What is it doing within the mental ecosystem?
So basically, Hey ELSA is a AI layer for crypto, where agents and their fellow humans can interact with DeFi, blockchain, and everything around it. So what we're trying to build is we're trying to build basically an access layer where you can simply access crypto with prompts or anything in your native language. And on the infrastructure side of things, so as Dean mentioned, that 2026 or 2025 even has been the year of a lot of developments around AI agents and stuff. So if you want to build an agent that particularly researches using Bird Eye's API, right, and also wants to trade on Fluxion on collaborating with all of the insights that you receive from the research you have done on Bird Eye, all of this can be done on ELSA's platform, where both of these APIs or infrastructure are available as a crypto skill. So yeah, in short, this is what we are doing. And right now we have released $1 million agentic fellowship. So if you are a builder in Mantle ecosystem and want to build a cool utility or a cool agent, feel free to hit us a DM. We're happy to work with you. And also there's like $1 million to grab if you're building with us.
I like that pitch out there, early doors there, buddy. Nice one. All right. So you've already name dropped some of the other projects that we have represented within this live stream, right? So is that one of the big deciding factors about why you chose the Mantle community? Like, is it because of the different partners and the resources that we have here already, or was there more to it?
Yeah, so I guess why we chose Mantle is obviously because of the wide range of use cases available within the ecosystem, and secondly, the tech, right? As Joshua mentioned, that the zero knowledge technology makes it very much faster, efficient, and even cost effective. So that's something that is a prime use case for agents. So I'll give you a small example. Particularly for me, I've been like trading on Polymarket for past 2 years, and my cumulative volume until last week was 100K over there, because I barely get some time to research and then place bets. So from last week, I have automated all of my actions to an agent, and my volume via an agent is like $1 million in 1 week. So the agent outperformed me 10 times in 1 week itself. So imagine this intensity, right? And if there is like uh, high gas fees and high block time and all of that, so I think like it's like nearly impossible to work on infrastructures which are not scalable, because agents will tend to have much more transactions than humans, and that's the entire point of it, right? That's why you want to automate this. So I think like Mantle as an infrastructure and as an ecosystem is a very suitable partner for us to work over there.
Mm. And we can wrap up your section with this one, right? So if there's one thing that you are really excited about in terms of that partnership between Hey Elsa and Mantle and the different partners that you name dropped earlier, is there something more beyond that agentic AI scope, or can you tease us with something else in the pipeline?
So we are actually early testing a platform where you can come on board, bring any crypto skill that you want, and actually build an agent with a no code or low code infrastructure. So even if you're not a coder, you can still build an agent for you on ELSA. So that's something that would be coming down in like next 4 or 6 weeks. So that's something which we are looking forward to and quite excited about.
Very nice. All right. And, certainly some of that excitement, that early excitement with ELSA, has also been reflected in the token. ELSA debuted on Bybit's platforms a couple of months ago, mid-January, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Soared nearly 1,000% at one point in time, now still up. And I should give due mention as well, earlier Block Street as well, also debuted on Bybit's platforms earlier this month. At one point climbed nearly 500% since its debut, right? But of course, here we are at this live stream talking beyond just the token prices. We are talking about the long-term fundamentals, the underlying business case and pain points that these different partners are trying to help you resolve and potentially lead to new opportunities for you within the Mantle ecosystem. So it's great that you're here learning more about it, and hopefully you can take advantage of not just the insights and information we're sharing right now, but also we've got the red packets. The next round is due to drop in just a couple of minutes, so make sure you look out for that. All right, cool. So thank you so much from that. We just heard from Nelson from Hey Elsa AI. Next up, we've got Sham, who is the marketing lead at Fluxion. So Sham, you know the drill by now. Over to you, here, buddy.
Hey, you guys. Hey.
Yeah, so Sham, you can start us off with, explain to us what your project is about and its relationship with the Mantle universe.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so it's the first time to join the Bybit Alpha live streaming. So I'm participating.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm participating in Mantles for several times, but it's the first time for Bybit Alpha, so it's quite good. And saw a lot of old friends and new friends here. So as Joshua mentioned, we are the liquidity hub of Mantle. So Mantle is positioning itself as a distribution layer of RWA. So what we are going to do is to be the trading infrastructure. So currently we are only deploying on Mantle, and we will always only deploy on Mantle. So that's why we call ourselves is a native DEX on Mantle. Yeah. So besides AMM model, V2 and V3 hybrid, we also introduced RFQ order book as well. So that's why we involve and introduce RFQ order book is we believe that most of RWA asset will need several kind of liquidities demands. So we just want to satisfy and want to give those both users and project have a better experience when they deploy liquidity or they just trading on Fluxion. We just want to provide a better experience for them. Yeah, that's what we are doing. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and certainly exciting stuff, right? More on the infrastructure side. So, we know that you came in early doors, as you mentioned earlier, perhaps around the genesis of the, perhaps early days, right? So, talk to us about the progress that you've seen since your early days with the Mantle interaction here.
Sorry, what's that? Can you repeat again?
Talk to us about some of the progress, that you guys have achieved, or say in recent months or recent years. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No problem. Yeah. So actually, we are not founded a long time, around half a year ago. Like half a year ago, we just founded and launched our V2 model, and then launched V3, and then involved RFQ order book last month, and also we did some visual brand work, and we just rebrand our website. So also we updated the entire interfaces for developers, and also the entire user experience, our front end for our users. And also with the rebranding, we released a article and a narrative article about our new positioning. That's what I mentioned. We want to be the infrastructure layer, trading infrastructure layer of the Mantle. So there are 3 pillars. Three pillars can help us to do that. The first thing is we're going to allow users, not users, sorry for that. We are allow liquidity providers. You can just customize your liquidity adding. Like if you're a long tail asset, you can just add liquidity in a different way from the very normal assets. So this is the first. And the second, we will help users to recapture the value, because there are a lot of MEVs and arbitrages on chain, and we have a mechanism to avoid that. That's why we call it's a value retention, and help our users can recapture the value. And the second thing and third thing is that we know compliance is a quite important thing for RWA assets, and also I think it's quite important for Mantle. So we are collaborate with some big names on compliance, and we are going to just released and announcement the collaboration to the community in the next few years and in the next few days. Yeah, that's kind of what we achieve and what we are doing now.
Yeah, great stuff. So what you've achieved, what you're doing now, help us end your section with this and what is to come. What is next?
Yeah. So the next, I think the most important thing is we have to list as many as as many as possible assets we can. So we just collaborate with Bybit Alpha. So I know Bybit Alpha will have like many good assets, and what we are going to do is just like amplify the liquidity, and just we are going to provide like the best service for the project, and also to provide the best experience for the trading experience for the users. That's what's the next. So just optimize our UX and the UI, UX, and so many things on that.
All right, great stuff. And we'll certainly hold you to some of that you've mentioned there. Here. Thanks so much, Sham. He's the marketing lead at Fluxion. And last but not least, we've got Igor. He's the head of business development at VOOI. And again, folks, just a reminder here, if you've got any questions for all the different assets or the different projects that we've spoken about here in this live stream, please do fill out that question in the chat wherever you are watching this live stream from, and then I will hopefully have some time for your questions to be addressed at the end. Okay, so Igor, over to you here, buddy. Right, talk to us about what you guys are working on over at VOOI and how it involves the Mantle ecosystem.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, sure. So what we're building at VOOI is trading DeFi super app, and at the same time, the first kind of club-based like segregation service, which aggregates both like crypto, RWA perpetuals, and other classes of assets. So you can think about VOOI as a DeFi super app that combines all kinds of different trading experience on both spot and perpetuals in just one applications. So at the same time, we also have two classes of products for different kinds of users. The first one's called VOOI Lite. You can think of it as like as actual DeFi super app. So we have spot supported, spot trading supported, perp trading, yield, and all in one place. And at the same time, you can access it without having a wallet, without managing gas fees, using bridges, your private keys, and etc. So Lite's more about like retail users, mobile front users, and etc. And the other product that we recently launched is VOOI Ultra, and it's more focused on perp trading. It's fully focused on perp trading. And here we just provide the professional grade trading terminal where you can manage your positions across all popular perplexes like Hyperliquid, Light Raster, and all the rest ones. And at the same time, create different strategies like data neutral farming, like smart order routing, and wait more. So it's all available from the pocket really easily. So yeah.
Cool. Now, Igor, I couldn't help but notice that you, of course, name dropped some of the other very famous DeFi big-time players, right? So talk to us then about how or what makes Mantle stand out then? Because, like you rightly pointed out, there are so many different options to choose from. What drove your team's decision to get involved with Mantle, perhaps in addition to some of the other names that you dropped earlier?
Yeah, for sure. So let's start with the light version. So if you ever tried onboarding like to a new chain as a regular user, you sometimes know how painful it is, especially for non-DeFi people. You need to figure out bridging. You need to get the right gas token, set up a wallet, private keys, etc. And all of it happens before you make your first trade and your first move to the chain. And VOOI Lite removes all of that. So on Mantle, users can access the entire ecosystem without bridging, without managing gas fees, and even managing your private keys. So that's it. Basically, no actual freakness, no headaches for their users, but it's still part of the DeFi experience, fully decentralized using several technologies like account or chain abstraction, like using private for your private keys and more. So yeah, that's what we do on light side. The VOOI Ultra, which is about perp trading, we are on the final stages of integration, like Apex DEX, which is the most powerful perp DEX and Mantle ecosystem. So once you finish that, you just will be able to create and manage their perp positions on VOOI, on Apex and other DEXs, and create their custom cross-venue farming strategies, like on funding rates or anything else. Yeah.
Cool, great stuff, And so again, we just heard from Igor, who's the head of business development at VOOI, and that's actually spelled VOOI. So you can find out more about that from within the Mantle ecosystem as well. Now, folks, I just got told that round 2 of the red packets giveaways have just flashed on your screen, so make sure you take advantage of that. Not just the insights that we are sharing during this live stream, but of course, we've got some goodies via those red packets as well, so make sure you do not miss out on that. All right, now we are having a producer scroll through your chats for some questions. I've already highlighted a couple here, and I'm going to throw them to you, Josh. We're going to hear back from Josh here. Hey, Josh. All right, so we have heard so much, right, from all our different guests, ranging from sports IP to agentic AI to the infrastructure and data layers of the Mantle ecosystem. I was wondering if you could maybe distill it down for us, and I will pose the same question to you that I had to all our other guests, right? So question is, how do you see the Mantle ecosystem evolving over the next year? Time now for you to make that sexy pitch for 2026.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, my reaction to all these projects. So I've been actually involved in every one of these as they came live on Mantle and part of the whole Bybit Alpha trading process. So it's been really phenomenal. But just to highlight, that itself is we've been trading their tokens, their native governance, mostly in the governance tokens, but we're talking about their technology and their capabilities, and they have to put it into the hands of users like yourself, and how that will be valuable. Firstly, it can be crypto, but the benefit is that it can be real world assets. With real world assets on places like Blockstreet, you get a very fast and near instant settlement of your trading from DEXs, and the ability to price any of those things, including X stocks, which is some of the security tokenized securities, which operates like stocks. But in traditional world, you would take like 2 T plus 2 days, which is like at least 2 days, 1 day for the trading and 1 day for actual settlement, which is having these stocks or share certificates getting to your brokerage account. In this case, it's instant, it's atomic, it's as fast as the speed of the blockchain, which is actually like a couple of seconds, 4 to 6 seconds. And in this case, you can use Function as well, which Function will be the Cree technology that enables Bybit Alpha. And BirdEye is actually the platform where all these data on the pricing, the numbers come through. But not just that, like any asset, quite literally any asset that has a pool on Mantle gets picked up by BirdEye and becomes something that you can trade immediately off your hand. And finally, with VOOI and some of these automation tools that we talked about, you can use AI agents to do all this that I just described. So you don't actually need to do it yourself, but you use the AI agents. So you can see like the entire innovation pathway of blockchain on Mantle. And looking forward, it's going to be more of the same, because with Bybit Alpha, we create the distributional platforms for more and more of these projects to come and find its value across from Mantle to Bybit ecosystem. But earlier when I talked about the categories, so real world assets will be continuously the key theme. We believe that it's not just about the assets itself. Hey, the assets are great, but it's strong liquidity. So in what I've just mentioned, the last month, we've already tripled our TVL. So our deep liquidity in stable coins is going to be a place where you can then pair it with all these assets, be it crypto or stable coins, or real world assets, being able to pair them, find good pricing and efficient pricing through deep liquidity. Secondly, with more and more automation even in our upcoming hackathon, we're actually going to push AI as a category. We've already seen the innovations when it comes to OpenClaw. It was one of the largest and most adopted code bases, in human history on GitHub, and instant acquisition by OpenAI, and has been used everywhere to do automation. And we see some of these already with VOOI. We see it with many other projects as well. And we're looking to get more of that. So looking forward, we believe that agentic trading and DAX trading is going to be a key part of our growth. In fact, I'll put a statement out there, and you hold me to it. By the end of this year, we do expect agentic or automated trading to far surpass our organic trading on chain. So this is going to be the case. We already see this in TradFi. Hedge funds are all automated. So we're going to see that trend going to be on the blockchain. So what we hope in the end state of Mantle, you think of it from your traditional financial asset distributor and brokerage. Think of the entire activities of how they're able to share with you the latest news, the latest trends around assets, around macro, around value capture, and put that on a decentralized and globally distributed framework. And that's what really Mantle is going to be all about. And we're really just on the early stages as we're growing, really fast on just things like stablecoins and DeFi and these new projects. But as you can see, the end state is going to be one where it will dominate the traditional financial service agenda and actually expand it with technology.
Yeah, and it's really exciting and also very encouraging to hear you share all that, Josh. Because not only did you outline some of these specific use cases as it involves all these specific opportunity as it involves all our different guests here. If I may share as well, again, I've only joined Bybit within the past year or so, and I've already seen how much agentic AI has just permeated the entire Bybit experience. Now, what I'm about to share here with you here is not financial advice. Okay, please do your own research, and certainly we have shared with you a lot of info as well. A couple of recent examples. So, like with this volatility, number one, I did a trade over the weekend, mind you, right, and that resulted in a 9,000% profit. Right, I won't tell you the name of the asset, but just know that it happened within the Bybit universe. And then another one that I just opened also just this past weekend. Also, now looking right now without me really doing much, just a couple of taps on the Bybit app. It's about 1.05% up right now. Also, now this one is within the Bybit Alpha universe, right? So all that to say, with all these exciting technologies at your fingertips, right, within the Bybit universe, specifically within Bybit Alpha, and as it involves the Mantle ecosystem. All right, so these are certainly opportunities for you. We hope that this live stream has been an enlightening one, and hope that you can use this to your own advantage wherever you are in your respective journeys across financial markets. All right, so with all that said, thank you so much, Josh, for sharing with us, as well as to again, shout out. I know although some of us have dropped off the call, but yeah, shout out to Tom, to Silu, to Dean, Nelson, Sham, Igor. Thank you for sharing your insights with us. And folks, the conversation doesn't stop here, right? Because as Joshua mentioned, we have got a lot to hold him accountable to in terms of AI's adoption rate within the Bybit universe. Now it's up to you guys, right, to make sure you take him up on the challenge, and hopefully we'll check in on Josh and the gang here in about a year from now, this time next year, and we'll see where the world is by then. All right. With that said, thank you all so much for your time and your insights, and thank you for joining us on this live stream. And we will see you on the next live stream. So stay tuned and have a good one. Bye bye.